everyone. This podcast series is in partnership with Tiger Eye Group. Tiger Eye offers equity, diversity, and inclusion workshops, business development, indigenous training, and they are hosting a meaningful event in May 13 and 14 at Metro Hub Kelowna, titled Cultivating Authentic Leadership Conference. We have the pleasure to have a conversation with all their speakers before the event. You don't want to miss it. Thank you very much for watching.
20 diverse speakers on May 13th and 14th here in Kelowna, BC, being held at the Metro Hub, 1265 Ellis Street. Join us for Cultivating Authentic Leadership, where we're going to have conversations that matter.
Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of Valiente Entrepreneur Podcast. Today I'm super excited because our guest is an amazing person that I'm very curious to know more about him. His name is Shane Lapp and he is a business consultant here in Kelowna. Welcome Shane, and it's a pleasure to have you here. How are you?
I'm doing great, and likewise, it's a pleasure to be here with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about yourself so we can start knowing each other. Where are you from?
Sure. Yeah, I'm from southern Alberta, Medicine Hat, actually a small town just beside it called Redcliffe, and grew up kind of part in the country and part in town.
How far from Kelowna, like driving wise?
Ooh. If you're making good time, it's about 10 hours.
Oh, okay.
Up and over the Rocky Mountains.
So I'm from Mexico. Mm-hmm. I'm learning about Canadian geography. Mm-hmm. So the farthest that I've been is Lake Louise, Banff. Is it that way or is it farther from there? Or?
Yeah, it's a little bit further. It's about 4 hours. So that's on the number one highway, Lake Louise and Banff.
Oh, okay.
And if you continue, you'll get to Calgary. And then we're about 2.5, 3 hours past Calgary on the number one highway.
Oh, great. Me and my wife would like to go soon. Hopefully we can be in Calgary and know all that area. And what takes you to Kelowna?
Well, I moved out here, 19 years ago. I had graduated engineering school, and I could have moved back to southern Alberta or Calgary, but I chose to stay in BC here, and so found a job in engineering and green buildings and renewable energy, and that was kind of the start to a whole kind of exciting career. Oh,
great. And what are you doing in these days? What are you doing at the moment?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's definitely evolved from engineering. Currently I'm doing business consulting. But really my last number of years, last 4 years, has been a focus on researching and developing innovative pathways for how we can do economic transformation. And so that's taken me on a couple wild adventures to get to this point. And so I love working with organizations, and we've got a project right now around community-owned solar. And within that, we're building out a really cool community framework.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about the project and the goals that you are currently doing right now?
Sure. Well, where do I begin on that? Part of, I guess, the goal is around an approach of how we do community ownership in an inclusive way, and that even includes how we organize, and we transition from top-down systems into decentralized, distributed, and so it's really exciting because my background includes renewable energy, like I had mentioned, but I was also trained in business and how to do that successfully as private businesses. And so I got to see the power of that, but also kind of the shadow or the dark side of that. And so it's really exciting to be doing this initiative at the next stage in a really cool framework where we can start to do renewable energy as community-owned assets, and then we get to share in the wealth and the benefits that's created from that.
That's super interesting, and that makes me wonder, in your personal opinion, what do you think? Because we hear a lot of being inclusivity during these days.
Mm-hmm.
But how would you think, or how would you say those words means to you?
Great question. I'm really, I guess, passionate about how we apply that into practices. And so for me, a big aspect of that is through Circle, and both as a philosophy and how we actually gather. And Circle holds a place where, I guess Circle's kind of the essence of how we've gathered since the dawn of time, and it creates a space for sharing stories, and it creates a place of, being seen and being heard as equals. And so what gets really exciting is there's ways of bringing Circle into organizations as non-hierarchical distributed systems. So we can show up in our differences, but also in our uniqueness as well. And there's a journey and there's a learning process because we're not used to that. But I'm really passionate about what that holds for all of us, and learning how to operate in kind of a decentralized world. And as a starting point, it's learning some of those basics of leading from the middle, and how we show up and how we create those spaces.
Totally, it's so real that we all are learning as a society, and I can talk about myself that I'm a person that I want to be inclusive. I want to be. I would like to be part of a group, and even with these values that I have, sometimes it's difficult to approach, or sometimes it's difficult for me to be inclusive with others. Yeah. So it is a real topic that we all can learn. We all can do a little bit more, but also having these conversations, I think that helps a lot. I remember that moving from Mexico to Canada, these topics, being inclusive, I have learned more here than in Mexico. I think one of the reasons is because in Mexico, we don't have that variety of culture, of multicultural. I feel like in Canada, there is more immigrants, there is more different ways of thinking. And in Mexico, this has changed a little bit more in these new generations. But in the past, there wasn't a lot of freedom of thinking. Just to give you an idea or an example, we just used to have two communication channels, two main networks in Mexico. And they both were led by the government. So that, as a whole concept, tell a lot about our society. It was like our minds were in a certain direction, right?
Yeah.
With the power of social media, new communications, that has changed quite a bit. And I see that Canada has a lot of opportunities that we can learn from Canada, because there is more freedom. Or how would you approach that conversation? How do you feel like? How do you think that Canada is in terms of these topics, inclusive and diversity?
Yeah, I think Canada is in a really exciting space around this. I think maybe it's pushing some of those edges, and there's a lot of discomfort in Canada around some of these. And I always appreciate when there's discomfort, because then we can examine and grow. And so it's really fascinating to hear what it's like in Mexico with kind of that state control media. And so I think it's this really exciting time for all of us, where you guys with social media and how that allows us to communicate peer to peer can really I think proliferate new ideas and different voices. And here in Canada, moving from kind of the old networks to more social media, so many more voices are being heard across people of color, indigenous voices, and with that, so many more perspectives of how we can organize, how we can do economics, and always, when things are coming in, that's a bit new, there can be some friction and hanging on to the old, and so I think that's Canada is kind of on that leading edge in some ways, and so it's a really exciting time to be here and to be a part of that. And I want to see more of these decentralized, how we communicate and how we bring these spaces, and just how we learn, how we grow through this as well. So yeah, it's exciting.
How important is for you to know others' perspectives from other people?
I think that's foundational, and that's why when I speak of Circle, it's a space to start to cultivate those different perspectives, and to really hear what people have to say. And sometimes it might come out a little strong, or it might be held back, and so it's a practice and a muscle that we can all build, those maybe softer aspects of ourselves that want to be seen and heard. And so we're at this time where I think the world is changing rapidly, and it's really important that we don't cut off people. We're curious, and we're open to new ideas, maybe radical in the sense of like, that's different, and it takes a little bit to listen and explore it, and beyond the biases that we hold around skin tone, race, gender, all of those aspects across the board. And I believe that cultivating that, we're moving towards a circular future, and that holds the potential for all of us.
Totally.
I'm such a circle nerd, sorry.
No, it's great, and I love what you are saying. And I'm curious to know how you put in practice your profession with these topics, with this way of thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's where this unique combination of engineering, and my focus was systems, and then being trained in business, and then going back to grad school and studying decolonial community eco-psychology, which is this kind of obscure course and program, and unsure how all of that would really come together because it seems so disparate. But yeah, it's this exciting time where I think we're really starting to weave it together into this exciting framework and exciting opportunity for community, really around that tangible aspect in a couple ways. Both, the practical of leading from the middle and working with organizations to do that, working with organizations to transition from top-down management structures into these self-organizing circle systems. And then this community wealth building, which is a larger movement and somewhat it's emerging across Canada. It's emerging across the world, and there's some technical challenges, and we're in those kind of nuanced spaces, looking at how we can do this community wealth and equitable resources, which is exciting, and it's also a little bit different. And I never saw myself in this space, and sometimes that's challenging, and I'm like, I should just get back into tech or engineering or something like that, because it'd be just so much easier.
Yeah.
And but no, it feels like there's a really rich opportunity for Kelowna, and like I say, that community solar I think is exciting, because we're transitioning more and more to renewable energies, and this is a different approach where as community we can reap those benefits equitably and inclusively.
I totally agree, and I like what you're saying. Like, sometimes I think about that as well. Like, especially, I'm gonna mention something that I can reference. Like, I'm a rock climber.
Rock climber.
Yeah, I'm a rock climber. I love this sport because it puts you in that spot of uncertainty and challenge.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm in the rock, I think, what I'm doing here? Why I'm not laying on my couch? But after completing my route, being at the chains at the top of the mountain, that effort, that push, is so worth. Like, that feeling. That's why I'm like putting that extra effort in what I do. And it sounds like you are doing that with these conversations, with your business, and talking about these topics. I'm super excited about the event that you're gonna be part, and I'm just gonna change the image to promote the event, so we can start talking about your collaboration and what you're gonna be doing in this event. So Shane, please tell me a little bit about, or tell me everything about your collaboration on this meaningful event, Cultivating Authentic Leadership. What are you going to be doing in this event?
Yeah, well, I mean, I really want to start off and just acknowledge just the importance, I think the timeliness of what Denise is bringing forth. It's a bit of a different conversation around cultivating authentic leadership. And when we look at the demographics of the other speakers, I feel very honored to be invited into this conversation. And I think it's been over the last year or so that I've gotten to know Denise, and just the type of work that she's doing. That's I would say she's a very talented woman that can hold a variety of perspectives in this conversation. That's just really I think welcomed, and so for her to invite me to this conversation is really beautiful. I've been in these conversations in a different capacity for 8 years, and in my graduate studies, they were a little more narrow, and so there wasn't a whole lot of room for questioning or being in different perspectives. And so I think that has had a cost, and I think that we see some of that right now, where there's some maybe some tenants or some nervousness of being in these conversations, and I think that Denise and the facilitators and the speakers that she's invited can really hold a different perspective within that. And so now I'm realizing that I might not have even answered your question, because I think it was more specific of what I'm doing.
No, it's great, and I'm glad that you start mentioning that, because I agree. Denise and her team is doing a really fantastic job putting this agenda and inviting these talented speakers with so much experience on these topics. And what you're saying is true. These are conversations that not everybody is having, but that they are necessary. These are conversations that probably will make us feel at some points uncomfortable, or that maybe will resonate with us, or like we will learn a lot from this conversation, from this event. That's why also we are super excited to be part. And yeah, like I'm very interesting about what you are going to be collaborating. And if you can share with us a little bit of that, that will be great.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be myself and my colleague Barry Harris. And,
Right.
And she's a really talented business expert. And so we've been working together for the last couple years on this larger initiative called the Okanagan Circular Society. And we've been developing this framework of community enterprise. And within that, community solar. And so we connected, Barry and I really connected around these really kind of innovative approaches of circle, democratic self-governance. That's how we transition from top-down systems in organizations, and how we can do that on a larger community scale, and then around this community wealth building and community solar. And so within that, it's really kind of leaning into how we can do economic transformation, economic reconciliation. And I know that those are kind of larger topics. And so we'll be touching on those a little bit. I'll be touching on some of the challenges that I've had in similar spaces, like I say, in grad school. And so that's why I'm really grateful for Denise in this conversation. And more specifically, we'll be talking about leading from the middle and practical approaches for how we can create that space, even just simple check-ins held in a circle way, just to kind of cultivate more of that human kind of how are you doing, just before we get into work and that, and even how we hold some of these tensions beyond the maybe the nuance of these conversations, but even just how we show up in our lives, in our work, and how we can bring that forth in practical ways. So that's where we're really excited to be a part of this conversation.
No, I'm even get more excited right now what you are sharing with us. And I want to take this opportunity to share something with you that I hope that I don't know, like I just want to share that I joined, I feel like it was 2 years ago, Zoom meeting of Okanagan Circular Society.
Oh, wild.
Yes.
So cool.
Yeah, I joined it and I got so inspired about the topics that you were having in the conversation.
Yeah.
And that gives me the inspiration and the encourage to create Valiente. Valiente means brave in Spanish. And what we are trying to do with Valiente is empower, inspire meaningful stories that transform our community. So just so you know, the impactful job that you are doing with this type of conversation, I feel like this is like, I forgot the word in English, but it is a momentum that all of us as a society can create. Sometimes the challenge, as you mentioned, seems more difficult, bigger, but if we gather together, the momentum and the energy can be bigger and powerful.
Yeah. Really cool that you've came to one of our Zoom circles.
Yes. I think it was 2 years. It was during COVID.
Yeah.
And I joined one of them. And yeah, I was so inspire. So I'm really want to invite all of our friends that are watching us to come and listen to your panel and be part of this event.
Really cool. And I just want to give a shout out to the Okanagan Collab and Shane Austin. He's really been a pioneer of creating inclusive spaces. That's where connected with Denise. And it was really out of the Okanagan Collab where the Okanagan Circular Society was birthed. And so we just have some real gems of spaces. Unfortunately, the Okanagan Collab literally broke in half. But individuals like Shane Austin have been cultivating these really inclusive spaces for a decade, and so it's really exciting to see more conversations and more people coming around and how we do this in a practical way. So bravery and courage is definitely foundational to what we're doing.
Yes, and sometimes we don't know the impact that we are creating in others. And yes, like I feel like we are all interconnected somehow. And now that you mentioned Shane, that's why also we are here right now. Because our good friend Mauricio, who is gonna be who is gonna be speaking at the panel, he invited me to one of the collab events, and it's just like people always going to connect when they have something to share. So that's why we, as a media company, want to give the tools, the platforms for events like this to do our part of promoting, sharing, create different type of content, and invite more people to join this momentum, right?
Really cool. Yeah, Mauricio's awesome.
Yes, I think he's gonna be on Monday as well.
Okay,
yeah. Hopefully he can make it, but if not, we're gonna try to book his in agenda to have this podcast as well.
Awesome. Well, maybe I haven't been out to any of his music performances yet. But I want to get out to it. So maybe we'll see. Have you guys been?
No, we haven't. But I have seen it on video.
Yeah.
But we both need to go and surprise him at one of the restaurants that they do it. Yeah.
Yeah, because T has gone. Maybe we'll get T and Denise, and we'll get Shane Austin from Collab.
Yes.
And go celebrate with Mauricio and some great music.
That will be amazing. And even like it will be like just making a little joke. Like I will ask him to do a improv. Like we call it in Spanish a palomazo. Like I will ask him to sing something for us in the band. We all came together there. That would be fun. No, but definitely we are going to show him support. And also we're gonna join. We can't wait to be part of this wonderful event. Thank you very much for your time. It has been a pleasure, and I really want to know you more. I really want to invite all the people to join us on this event. Is there something else that you would like to add about this conversation or about the event?
I think that we've covered lots and just on a personal note, I feel a little bit looser now. So thank you guys for.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. At the beginning, always these kind of things are like very rigid, but we like to loose it up and do it more casual. I feel you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
I think that's pretty much it. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on this conversation. And please follow Tiger Eyes social media for more details. And thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right.